in fate, Neil. Why not? Because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life. I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here.
I think we don't see the video. We see your replicate solution resources, your other screen, I believe.
Oh, okay. What's going on?
I think it's just the other slide. So guys, we are setting up the room and we are preparing you some videos. Until then, please make sure you are tuning in and you are sharing with us where are you tuning in from in the comments on the YouTube side.
Do you believe
see the
in
video
fate,
now?
Neil?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Why not? Because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life. I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Matrix. Do you want to know what it is?
Have you ever stopped to consider who really controls the financial system that runs our world? Is it the US president? Is it the communist nation dictators? Or perhaps it's the big corporates, Amazon, Facebook, or Tesla. Or maybe it's all of them and more, all simply because they are part of an elusive group of stupidly wealthy and powerful people, the elitist 1%. The truth is, none of these guys really control anything, and in reality, they too are being controlled. Let's unveil the truth of who is actually controlling the current debt-driven financial system that we will now call the financial matrix. Much of what you do and earn happens with the permission of the financial matrix, and 99% of people don't even know it. No, we're not talking about the Illuminati, mind control, or aliens. It's a lot simpler than that, as you're about to find out. The financial matrix is made up of the centralized banking powers, the brokers, the agents, the intermediaries, and the money counters. These are the people that have built the financial matrix, a centralized system of finance and technology that brings all the benefit to them and none to you. It sucks up billions of your hard-earned money right out of your pocket with your consent, while the wool is being pulled over your eyes. At the top of the matrix are the controllers, the central banking magnates, reserve banks, and central banks. Then under them, you've got their generals, the banking institutions, and the massive corporates, and then big anything, big pharma, big insurance, big corporations, big social media, etc. Lower down the matrix are the paper pushers, regulators, auditors, exchanges, clearinghouses, watchdogs, and bureaucrats. The matrix's foot soldiers are the brokers, lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, and insurance guys. Chances are you know a few of these guys. You may even be one without even knowing it. Everything that feels off in the financial world right now, the soaring debt, the sky-high asset prices, zero interest rates, the mountains of printed money, it's all a result of the financial matrix breaking down. For too long, your money has been used as the lifeblood of the financial matrix, but now something profound is happening. The matrix is being exposed. The controllers are getting greedy, and in doing so, they are losing control of the financial matrix, exposing the greed, the corruption, and the bias. And in 2021, we sit at a crucial crossroads. A new awakening is being set up by a gutsy band of technologists, cryptographers, economists, and early adopters. They saw what was going on a long time ago, and they have spent the past decade creating an alternate financial system, one that's currently operating in parallel with the old one. This new world of money is built on the principles of free markets, individual rights, and liberties. This new decentralized financial system is going to change everything, and it will positively affect your life, the internet, the future, the financial world, and even money itself. The world is shaking off its financial shackles and attempting to break control. It's working to become decentralized, and in doing so, the concept of money and wealth and financial freedom is being rewritten. As the people, you and me, start to learn about this new set of rules for saving, investing, and wealth creation, a new system that benefits everyone will emerge as the dominant financial system. This new financial system is a whole new ballgame, and it's going to be the biggest disruptor of our time. To be part of it, we'll need to know the rules, learn how to understand them, how to play by them, and crucially, how to profit from it. Once you know, that is when you, like Neo in the movie, can make the decision to either unplug yourself from the money-hungry, money-sucking financial matrix and finally have a real opportunity at financial freedom, or you can keep slogging away, getting nowhere. The choice is yours.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Alrighty, if you're still watching, I'm going to assume that you've decided to take the red pill and you're ready to go down the rabbit hole. So allow me to guide you down the rabbit hole. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are joining us from the world. My name is Wassim, but we'll get to that in a minute. Before we dive into today's presentation, let's have a look at what we're seeing right now. The world is currently seeing the biggest change and the biggest transfer of wealth. The world is seeing the biggest transfer of wealth since the internet. In fact, it's even larger than the internet. The next evolution of the internet, finance, is being built right now. Web 3.0 and crypto and blockchain is right in the heart of it all. We believe that this is the greatest investment opportunity of our lifetime, bigger than the internet ever was. And the question for you is, imagine being able to invest in the protocols that created the World Wide Web. Things like Amazon, Facebook, Google. If you are able to invest in those very, very early on, this is the opportunity here for you today. So let me introduce myself in a moment. Before that, Andrea, can you just put in the chat the handout link? This is a workshop, so I will ask you guys to be interactive. You will walk away with a financial freedom plan. You'll walk away understanding what your risk profile is, as well as your financial freedom goals. So click on the link that Andrea is putting in the chat, download it. If you've got time to print it, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, grab a notepad and a pencil or pen, and let's get started. And before we get started, we have to give you guys our risks and disclaimer. We are not financial advisors, and we are not providing you any financial advice. All strategies that I'm going to mention today are general in nature and are not necessarily tailored to your needs or any individual needs. Always do your own research. If you're unsure about this space, consult your financial advisor. Crypto has many, many risks, and you can lose all of your money. Always be careful investing in altcoins as they can lose their value very, very fast. Now, tonight is an opportunity for you, or this afternoon, I should say. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to move this camera. All right, cool. So at any given moment, you have the choice. You have the choice to say that this is not how it's going to end. And today is one of those opportunities. The information I'm about to share with you can potentially change your life. I know it's changed my life the first time I heard it. All that I ask of you is please pay attention for the next 90 minutes, because you can potentially walk away with information. It's not going to affect you, affect your loved ones, everybody around you, and generations to come. We are going to talk about how you can use financial digital wealth assets to create generational wealth. So please close down any tabs, put your phone down, sit in the quiet space, grab a notepad and a pen, and listen attentively while we go through this information. So who am I? My name is Wassim. I'm a loving father and husband of over 22 years now. I've been with my wife for 25 years, been married for 22. I've got 3 amazing boys. My eldest son is 19, studying in law, and I've got another son doing his HSC and another son in primary school. Now, I came to Australia when I was 10 years old. English was my 3rd language. And on top of that, I've got a lisp. So you can imagine growing up in Southwest Sydney with a name like Wassim Dabusi that has 4 S's in it. Life wasn't easy for me. I was picked on, I was bullied, and I had a hard time through high school. So I grew up with a really fixed and negative mindset. Now, I became a serial entrepreneur in 2003 when I had my first son. I realized at that time that my job wasn't going to get me to where I want to get, and my wife was taking time off for maternity leave. So I went out to looking for an online job opportunity. And back in 2003, online job opportunities were nowhere near what they are today. So I ended up getting to multi-level marketing, which I don't have any problem with. And that actually got me into finding out about personal development. We had a guy from Tony Robbins come, give a great presentation. I got very excited. He sold me a ticket to UPW, and that was the moment, that weekend was the weekend that changed my life. It took my life on a completely different trajectory, and it's because of that weekend I am here today. I've been 17 years in sales and marketing. In fact, I wanted to get in sales when I first found out about entrepreneurship, but no one would give me a job. So I created my own job. I started my own business. I spent the next 9 months door knocking every single day, 4 days a week for 4 to 5 hours, trying to get my name out there and get my business to grow. I was the #1 sales professional for some of the organizations I was working with, bringing in over $4 million of revenue per month. And then, like everybody else, COVID hit. It was unexpected. I was highly leveraged and I lost it all. I lost my business. I lost my family home. I lost all of my investments. And now I'm rebuilding it all through the digital assets. And this is why I'm so passionate about it. What I've been able to achieve in 6 months, I wasn't able to achieve in 5 or 10 years prior to this. And this is the opportunity I want to speak to you guys about today. So to let you guys know a little bit about me, I had a gym before COVID. And obviously when COVID started, when we were shut down, owning a health and wellness business during COVID time is not a fun thing to have. So after lockdown or during lockdown, the debt kept on piling on, and that had a massive, massive effect on my mental health. In fact, my mental health went so bad that I was diagnosed with severe depression and extreme stress. And as we got out of the lockdown last year, I thought, you know what, things are going to get better. People are going to start coming back. We're going to start rebuilding the business. But to my disappointment, most people weren't ready to come back to a gym. So we'd lost over 50% of our members. And that continued. Owning a gym with $35,000 to $40,000 overhead per month meant that the debt kept on piling on, and I kept on going down and down the mental health challenges I was facing. Then I spoke to my wife. I said, babe, this can't keep going like this. It's going to take us at least 4 or 5 years to get out of this hole. That's if business goes back to normal. So we made a decision to shut the business down, clear all our debt, and then restart. What I didn't know was this is going to affect me even more. As I was going through this, my mental health deteriorated so much that I hit rock bottom, and I did something that I'm not proud of. And that was the moment I decided to change. There was a moment when my wife and I were fighting, and I actually did something I would never wish on anybody, and I pushed my wife. And that was the moment I was like, whoa, what's going on here? My wife, like, what's going on here? So we sat down, we had a chat. I got a mental health plan. I got a psychologist. I got a coach. And I've been working on myself since then to come out a much better person than I've ever been. And right now, I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. I'm thriving. I found inner peace. I found gratitude. I found altruism. And that's why I'm here today, because crypto had a major, major part in my healing. And my passion now is to get the message out to people, because I believe every single person needs to at least spend a bit of time investigating this opportunity, because it can change lives. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. And if it is for you, whether you end up working with me or not, I just want to be the catalyst to let you, to open up your eyes to this opportunity. So let's dive in. Let's look at our current financial system. So right now, if you were to buy something, whether it's online or in the store, you go, you choose your product, you want to pay for it, you swipe your card. That swipe then sends a request to the bank, who then processes the payment. Now, what does the bank do? Whether it's PayPal, whether it's bank, whether it's Venmo, Cash App, whatever it is that you're using, they take a fee. Now, once they take the fee, then they send the money to the recipient and the transaction is gone. We all know the billions and billions of dollars that banks, that the banks make profit every single year. And they hardly give us, the people who give them the money to use this and be able to do it. Most banks are giving less than 1% interest rate these days, while they're charging much higher fees, and they're making in the billions and we are getting nothing. This is why Satoshi Nakamoto, who's the creator of Bitcoin, said that the problem is the central banks. They expect us to trust them, but they are debasing the value of money every single year, and they still expect us to trust them while they're behaving unethically. If you think about right now, money, the dollar is being devalued at about 14% per year. That means in about 4 years' time, your money will only have buying power of 20%. 80% of your dollars is going to go. So how do we hedge against this inflation? Think about, a couple of years ago when you went to Woolies, when you went to a grocery store, how much were you able to get for the money that you're using versus what you're paying now? Now, I don't know about you, I don't do a lot of driving anymore, but the last time I filled up my car, it was over $2 a litre. So what is blockchain technology? Before we understand what is the cryptocurrency opportunity and how it works and how we can profit from it and actually change the world that we live in and have a positive impact, let's understand the blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is a very, very simple technology in essence. It's very hard to work with. You've got to be very highly technical, but I'm going to give it to you guys in simple layman's terms. If you know anything about accounting, you understand what a ledger is. A ledger is just a spreadsheet or a book where you're putting in all the different transactions, money coming in, money coming out. That's exactly what a blockchain is in a digital form. So what it does is, let's say you make a transaction and you want to buy something off someone. So you put in a request to send the money to this person. This request now goes to a decentralized network, completely different than the governments and the banking centralized network where they control all the data and they're in control of your money. This decentralized network is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of computers around the world that house the same type of information. Now that goes to this decentralized network. If one computer is attacked or one computer goes down, the other computers will protect the network. Then this decentralized network will validate whether you have the money to send to the person that you are trying to send the money to. Once the validation is done, a block is created and that is placed at the end of the blockchain and the money is sent to the other person. The great thing about this is you cannot change blocks previous to the current block. So if anybody wants to go back and change a block, they have to change everything in the blockchain, which is very, very hard to do and almost impossible. No, it's not impossible to do, but it's very hard for the average person to do it. When they do that, they create a new blockchain, which is what we're seeing with things like Bitcoin Cash and whatnot. So what is the origin of cryptocurrencies? Cryptocurrency started because People were unhappy with how the banking institutions handle money and wanted a way for government not to control currency. And that is why the first and most popular cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. It came from the idea that creating a digital currency can't be copied or counterfeited by anyone, not even those that created it. And this is the problem that Satoshi Nakamoto solved, because the biggest problem they had when they were creating digital money up until 2009 was, how do you stop it from being counterfeited and used twice? And Satoshi Nakamoto, in his white paper for Bitcoin, solved that through a very complicated mathematical equation. Now, tonight, as I promised you guys, we are going to go through and create, first of all, your financial freedom goals. So what I've created here is what I call your devise your goals model. So if you open up your workbook, it should be on the, let me just have a look. It should be on the second page. Yeah, so this slide that we've got here is on the second page of your workbook. Now, the reason why I've created this, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. When I was growing up, I've always imagined, and I had this vision in my life of what I wanted my family to look like, what I wanted my relationship with my wife to look like. And I remember from the age of about 14 or 15, I would visualize it so vividly every single night. I would daydream about it. I would think about the relationship, the love, the connection, what kind of a father I'm going to be. And I played that story and I played that movie in my mind over and over and over again. And I didn't realize up until about maybe 5 years ago, when I was learning about visualization and stuff, that's actually what I was doing. I was visualizing my end goal and my means goal while I was at the age of 14 and 15. And when I learned this, I took a moment, I looked around at my family, and I thought about what I actually had achieved, what I wanted to achieve back when I was 14 and 15. And I looked at my wife and my amazing children who I love dearly, and I realized that this is exactly what I visualized when I was 14 and 15 years. And it got me thinking, how did that happen? And the way it happened was because my goal was according to this devise your goal model. So what is devise your goals? Give me a second. Let me just go back onto this. All right, here we go. Someone work for me, baby. Okay, so devise your goals is, number one, it has to be dated and driven to the positive. So have a clear date for the goal that you want to be achieved and state it in the positive. You want it to be ecological. So that means it's got to be good for you, good for others, and good for the world. You also want it to be verified and realistic. So can you picture this happening? You know, I remember when I was 14, 15, I could imagine exactly, what kind of connection I'd have with my wife, what kind of love we'd have, what kind of relationship, the laughter, the happiness. All of that was actually it was realistic in my head. And it was ecological. It was good for me. It was good for everybody else. It was good for my family. And I've got to admit, back then, I didn't have it dated, but it was driven in the positive. And it has to be in the moment. So when I was visualizing myself as a married man, I could actually see myself in the house that I wanted. I could see my wife smiling. I could see my beautiful children. And I could make it real in my head, because one of the things that you learn as you understand psychology is that your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and not reality. So whatever you say to your unconscious mind is going to believe. And if you say negative things to it long enough, it's going to believe it and give you negative results. If you give it positive goals and positive things into your mind, you do that long enough, it's going to start producing positive results. And you want to be specific and state it clearly. And I can tell you, when I was 14, I was very, very specific on a lot of things, which I'm not going to share here today. But you can imagine, I was very specific about the relationship that I had. Wake up in the morning, having dinners and all that kind of stuff. So you want to be clear on your desire. And you want to have the end step. What does the end step look like? What does it look like when you've achieved that goal? This is very important, because many people, every time, we get new clients and we speak to them and go, what do you want to achieve? Oh, I just want more money. Well, I can give you $1. Here's more money. That's more money. You want to be very specific exactly what it is. And then what does the end goal give you? Not just more money. Money is just money. Money is an energy. Money is an emotion. What is that money going to do for you? How is it going to make you feel? What are you going to be able to do to the world, in the world? How's it going to make the people around you feel? You want to think about all of these things so you can look at the end step. Because to bring anything into your life, you have to imagine that it's already there. If you've heard of Bob Proctor, who's someone I listen to a lot and I really look up to, he's a very, very genuine man. And he says, whatever you imagine in the screen of your mind, you can hold and you can manifest in your hand. And this is so true. If you can imagine something so vividly and so true in your head, in time, you can actually manifest it and hold it in your hand, because your mind will start finding ways to achieve it for you. So let's dive in and create your first devised goal, an example. I want to give you an example here that I've written. So for example, I've written here, it is now the 31st of December, 2021. Actually, before I do, I'm going to open up the chat because I can't see the chat and I just realized. So I do apologize, guys. How to run, how much fun. Yep. Perfect. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, guys. I've opened up the chat now. So, guys, if you do have any questions, either write them down and wait for the end. I will give you guys a Q&A time, or engage with me. I'm going to ask you guys in a few moments to share your goals. So do this as we're going through, because I want to give you guys an opportunity to share them. I'll give you guys some feedback on how you can optimize it for you to get the best results. So this example here, it is now the 31st of December, 2021. And I'm in my office looking at my crypto portfolio, and I have $1 million portfolio. Now, is this realistic? Is it number one? Let's test this. Is it number one? Is it dated in the future? Yes. Is it dated in the positive? Yes. Is it a positive goal? Yes. Is it ecological? Is it good for me? Is it good for those around me? Is it good for the world? Well, if I had $1 million portfolio, I can guarantee you it's going to be good for me, it's going to be good for my family, and it's going to be good for those around me. Is it verifiable and realistic? Now, this question is going to come down to your own personal situation. I don't know your situation where you are right now, so that's something you are going to have to verify. Now, if this was my goal, I would say, yeah, this is something I can, it's verified, it's realistic. What I know about the crypto market, what I know about what things are happening. We're seeing some great all-time highs over the past week or so. So is it a realistic goal? I believe it is. Is it in the moment? Yes, it is now the 31st of December. I'm in my office. I made it very, very clear where I am, and I'm looking at my crypto portfolio. I do that every single day, and I have $1 million portfolio. So all of it is things that I can actually imagine happening, and specifically stated and very clear. And I have an end step where I can imagine myself in my office doing this. And because the reason I'm saying this is we're about to do an exercise after this where we're going to plant this goal deep down in your unconscious mind so that it keeps working, looking for it. The same way that my visualization when I was 14 and 15 kept on working for 20 years, 30 years. I don't know, I'm not 45 yet, but kept on working for 20, 25 years afterwards. So yes, it can work if you put it deep down in your unconscious mind, and you don't always have to revisit it. I'm going to give you guys another example. Okay, so here's another example, and this is a bit more further down the track for me, or in this example is a bit further down the track. So it is now the 31st of December, 2024. So it's about 3 years, 3.5 years from now, whatever it is. And I'm standing in our new $3 million home, and I've purchased outright with my crypto profits. Now, again, if we were to test this against the devise your goal model, is it dated and driven in positive? Yes. Is it ecological? Yes. If I have a $3 million home, it's good for me, it's good for my family, it'll be very good for those that are around me. Is it verified and realistic? Well, this is a test for me to have a look at. This was my goal, and that's what you got to look at. Can I go from where I am right now to a $3 million home in 3.5, 4 years? And the answer may be yes, maybe not for you. So if it's a no, you want to make it realistic because you want to be able to achieve this goal. Is it in the moment? Yes, I'm standing in our new home. Is it specific and stated clearly? Yes. And is there an end step? Yes. So when you take all these things together, you can see how the devise your goal model can work. Now, I'm going to give you guys a minute or so to start writing your own devise your goal model. So on page 3, actually, sorry, it's on page 2 still, you can write 2 goals. So, hey, Kerry, how are you? Thank you for joining. Does anybody want to share their goals in the chat? Give you guys a minute or so. Abdul, thank you for joining. Darren, brother, thank you for joining. Mina, thank you for joining. Kerry, Andrea, thank you very much for putting the hand out while everybody's writing their goals. If anybody wants to share it, if you guys want to turn your camera, actually probably not turn because we're on YouTube, so probably not a good idea to turn your cameras on. But please feel free to share your goals in the chat. If you don't want to, I'll move on to the next one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what I call strategic visioning. Now, what this is actually taking your goal and imagining yourself in the picture, in that end step. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get you guys to close your eyes for a moment. And then what you'll do when you close your eyes, I want you to imagine yourself having achieved that goal. And you can do this, you can actually do this for anything, whether it's weight loss, relationships, anything in your life, any goal that you want to achieve, you can actually use the same model. So it's not something just specific to here, but it's actually can be used in any part of the world. You want to imagine yourself having achieved that goal. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take a step back and we're going to leave ourselves in the picture so that we can see ourselves in the picture. And we're going to take that picture, we're going to look at it, we're going to energize it with 3 aha breaths. And I'm going to guide you guys through this. And as we energize it, we're going to then rise up above our time stream. And then we're going to go to that date. We're going to float all the way down to the date that you have in your goal. So for example, the first goal is the 31st of December. So I'm going to rise up and go all the way down to the 31st of December. And I'm going to drop that picture into my time stream. And once I've done that, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to have a look behind me and see that everything that needed to happen for this goal to be achieved has happened perfectly as I want it to be. And then I'm going to turn around and look towards the future. And I want to see that my future all changing because this goal has been achieved. What does my future look like? Is it brighter? You know, all the things are going to happen because I've achieved that goal. So when you guys are ready, I'm going to start doing that. I think I've spoken enough about giving you guys enough time to do it. So I'm going to go through the process right now. And we're going to now put this goal so deep into your unconscious mind that you can achieve it without even doing anything about it. So for those of you that have written your goals, I want you now to stand up, close your eyes, and I want you to, as you close your eyes, I want you to go ahead and step right into that goal. That's right. Step into that goal so that you are looking at it through your own eyes, hearing the things that you're hearing, the sounds around you, feeling the feelings of being right there, achieving the goal that you want. What are you feeling? What are you tasting? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you feeling on your body? Who's around you? Make it as vivid as possible. Now, if it's black and white, I want you to turn it into color. And if it's dull, I want you to bring the adjusted brightness up just enough to be perfectly right for you. And then I want you to make it compelling so it excites you on the inside. It puts a fire inside you that you're about to achieve something great in your life. Now I want you to step out, but I want you to leave yourself in that picture. Step out of your body, leaving yourself in that picture. And I want you to take a picture of this moment, of you standing in your office or in your house, or whatever it is that your goal is. Like for the examples that we put there, is standing in front in my office. I want to look at myself in the office. And now I want you to grab that picture and rise above your timeline. And as you're rising, I want you to energize the picture with 3 aha breaths. And as you do that, I want you to now float all the way into the future to the date that you have in that goal, until you are right above the date that you said this goal will occur. And now I'd like you to drop that picture down into your time stream. And as you do, I want you now to turn around and look towards your past. And as you're looking towards your past, you want to notice how everything that had to happen to make this event a reality is happening and happening rapidly. Everything is shifting so rapidly to let you make sure that you are achieving the goal that you want to achieve. And you can see your time stream shifting. Who needs to come into your world to help you achieve this goal? Who are you working with to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? Who's supporting you? Who's no longer in your world that is no longer supporting you, no longer serving you? And now I want you to turn around and look towards your future. And I want you to notice that your future is also changing. It's becoming brighter. It's becoming more brilliant and more alive, becoming exciting, building that fire inside you for the beautiful future that you have now setting for yourself. And now, knowing that all of this is waiting for you out there in the future, out there waiting for you to achieve and have the life that you dream of, I want you to come back into the room. And as you come back into the room, I want you to know and realize that this is waiting for you as you open your eyes and come back. Take a moment to rejoice with this new future that you've set for yourself. Awesome. Now that you guys are all wooed out, let's talk about what is really happening in the world out there. And what we know right now is money printing is out of control. Ever since COVID, money printing has been out of control since 2008, since the global financial crisis, since this quantitative easing idea came about. And what is quantitative easing? Quantitative easing is just governments printing more and more money to bail out big banks and big institutions for the bad decisions that they have made. Okay, so quantitative easing isn't for you and me, it's for the big banks. And all that it actually is doing is just kicking that can down the road. And the more the governments print money, the bigger that can is going to get. And sooner or later, there's going to be no road and this whole system is going to collapse. So what we see here is in 2020 alone, almost 35% of the US dollars in circulation were printed in 1 year. And over 50% of the amount of money ever printed was printed in 2020. In fact, the Federal Reserve has actually shut down its public reporting of the M2 money supply because they're printing that much money, they're not even reporting it. Central banks are aiming for higher inflation. We see people talking about inflation. We're seeing it all over the world, whether you're in the developed world or whether you're in the Western world and the developed world, or you are in the developing world. We are seeing, think of countries like Lebanon, like Greece, Cyprus, Venezuela, Brazil. A lot of these people had their money debased because they're going through hyperinflation, and this is coming to the West, guys. I know a lot of people are going to say it's not, but as I said before, the dollar is being debased at 14% per annum. So in 4 years' time, your dollar is only going to be worth 20 cents. And the effect of inflation is coming. What you see here is record consumer price index that has been hitting the US. US inflation hits a 13-year high in June. So 13 years, we're talking about since 2007 and 2008. Now, we're looking at inflation. We are really entering into hyperinflation. So how do you hedge against inflation? The only way you can hedge against inflation is to invest in assets that are going to grow faster than the money is going down. And what are those assets? So let's have a look. This is an example, and this is taken off the web of a website called How Much, which shows if someone was to invest $100 into any of these assets, what they would get. And what you can see here, if you were to invest $100 back in I think it's February 2009. So if you were to invest $100 in 2009, if you were to put it in Walmart or Facebook or Amazon, these are the gains you would have got. And Alibaba, if you invested $100 in Alibaba back in 2009, you would have 117% gain. If you put it in Facebook, you would have got 1,000% gain. Great returns, don't get me wrong. If you put it in Amazon, you would have got 6,580% gain. But if you put it in Bitcoin, you would have got 44,549,900% gain. Yes, 44.5 million% gain. This is the power of cryptocurrencies. This is why I'm so passionate about educating people to learn about cryptocurrencies. Look at this chart. This chart shows you all the major companies around the world that hit $1 trillion. Google did it in 21 years. Amazon did it in 29 years. Apple did it in 42 years. Microsoft did it in 44 years. Tesla recently did it, but Bitcoin did it in 12 years. Is the fastest growing asset to ever show up on this face of this earth. Now, let's have a look at where actually Bitcoin is right now. And this is a little bit outdated because Bitcoin's market cap now is almost $2 trillion. And it looks like it might hit $10 trillion very, very soon. However, let's have a look at it. Tesla is now a $1 trillion business. So this chart is a little bit outdated. It has grown so much over the past couple of weeks. Okay, but we don't want to compare Bitcoin to Tesla or Visa or Facebook or Google. We want to compare Bitcoin to other money. And Bitcoin started off as a digital cash payment system, but it's now become a store of value, which means when you want to compare Bitcoin, you actually want to compare it to gold. And you want to compare it to the total market cap around the world. So what we're seeing here is Bitcoin is about almost $2 trillion now. So it's still 1/6 of the market cap of gold. And it's a lot less than the overall market cap. So as Bitcoin grows, it's got a massive, massive potential. And if you know what we know, we know that Bitcoin's got potential to reach 500,000 million. Some people even say $12 million of Bitcoin. Now, I don't know about that, but I'm quite confident with a $500,000 Bitcoin. If someone says to me, come on, that's out of the, that's a bit unrealistic. Well, I'll say to them, back in March 2020, Bitcoin was about $7,000. Today, it's over $60,000. So we know from what we're saying, Bitcoin can do this. But if you're still skeptical, I don't blame you. I really don't, because the media, they love to bash cryptocurrencies. They love to bash Bitcoin, and they always wait for the crash to make massive news about it. In fact, Bitcoin has been dubbed dead by so many different organizations, so many different media outlets. Why? The rise and fall of Bitcoin. So that's the end of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doomed to fail. Bitcoin is a joke. Bitcoin is still doomed to fail. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin is dead. In fact, Bitcoin has been announced dead over 426 times, if it's not more. If you want to find out how many times Bitcoin has been announced dead, all I say to you, just simply go to 99bitcoins.com/Bitcoin obituary, and you'll see how many times it's been called as dead. And it's not the first time the media had it wrong. There's, back in 1977, Ken Olsen said, there's no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. No online database will replace your daily newspaper. No CD-ROM can take the place of a competent teacher, and no computer network will change the way governments work. This is by Newsweek Newsweek magazine back in 1995. Funny thing is, after 17 years, Newsweek became exclusively online. You can't even get a printed copy of it. Another one, internet may be just a passing fad as millions give up on it. The internet is a fad. Most things that succeed don't require retraining of 250 million people. I predict the internet will soon go spectacularly supernova, and in 1996 catastrophically collapse. The funny thing is about that, the guy that said it, Bob McCullough, he's actually the creator of Ethernet. Now, Ethernet is those cables you plug into your router and into your computer. Ethernet is what the internet is actually built on. So where's Bitcoin going? If we were to compare Bitcoin versus the internet, for example, what we're seeing here is that the internet grew between 130 million to 1 billion users in 7.5 years. But what we're seeing with crypto is that Bitcoin is going from 130 million users to 1 billion users in 4 years. Now, that's faster than the internet was growing. I don't know about you, but I've missed the boat on the internet. I was at uni. I knew nothing about the financial markets at the time. This is my opportunity to really get some wealth, not just for me, but also for my children and their children to come. So this is the difference, and this is what we're seeing. It's almost growing twice as fast as the internet. And we actually saw that happening this year. So back in earlier this year, Bitcoin growth doubled, Bitcoin users doubled to 220 million users in just 6 months. Now, that's insane. Doubling the 110, 120 million people jumping in on this opportunity in 6 months' time. So where are we in the adoption ladder? Now, one thing you'll know is that there's a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point, very, very good book. Highly recommend you read it. In that book, Malcolm Gladwell speaks about something that he calls the tipping point, which is every disruptive technology to ever hit humanity had to go through this adoption ladder or this adoption curve. And once it reached that 15% adoption by the mainstream world, that's when it became unstoppable. Think about airplanes. Think about personal computers, mobile phones, internet, telephones, cars, trains, all of these, these technologies that shaped our world, they really skyrocketed after they got 15% adoption. So where is Bitcoin right now? 9 months ago, we were down less than 10%. Today, we were over here. Okay, we're actually above the tipping point already. We've passed that tipping point. There's no stopping crypto. There's no stopping Bitcoin anymore. It's either people are going to embrace it or they're not. And this is why I'm so passionate about people to say, you know what? Give yourself, you owe it to yourself to find out more about this opportunity. And we're still in the first stages of mainstream. Just give me a second, guys. I just need to have a drink. Okay. So we're still at the first stages of mainstream adoption. El Salvador, they've announced Bitcoin as legal tender, the first country to announce Bitcoin as legal tender. And now they're using their volcanoes to power mining and so forth. But not only that, politicians around the world are starting to look at it. I saw yesterday one of the American senators saying that, Bitcoin can actually become the world reserve currency. Politicians in Panama, Brazil, Paraguay, Ukraine, a lot of countries are starting to look at cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as a way away from the petrodollar, because a lot of these countries are under sanctions and being manipulated by the petrodollar. So now they've got a way they can go and they can break away from that dollar. And they're eating it up. El Salvador is doing great things with crypto. They're really going to thrive and they're going to be a major, major powerhouse in the future. Billionaires who are skeptical also now getting in. Now, the billionaires who are saying that Bitcoin is crap, Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme, now they're getting in on it. Multiple billionaires you can see here, all getting in. Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller. I can never pronounce his name properly. Tim Draper, Mike, I can't remember, I cannot say his last name, but all of these guys are great billionaires and now they're adopting Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, he buys Bitcoin in, day out, regardless of the price. However, having said all of that, all the hype and all the great news about Bitcoin, I do have to give you guys the warning. It can be very, very risky and there are a lot of challenges with cryptocurrency investing. Things like phishing websites, payment spoofing, Ponzi schemes, and other scams. I was involved in a Ponzi scam back in 2017, and I lost $8,000. Bad security management. We had one client come to us. She bought a ledger from a site where she didn't actually know it was a genuine site or not, and it turned out to be filled with malware. She loaded up all her cryptocurrencies on there, turned it on. The next day, all her crypto was gone. So I urge you guys, do enter this market with the right education. Find someone who knows what they're doing. Find someone that you can trust. Let them teach you how to do it properly. Make sure they've got the results to prove it also. Insecure ICOs and rug pulls, we've seen it so many times. I've been scammed by those in my early days in crypto, and still till now, sometimes, you might see something and your greed gets involved and you might buy something, but I've been lucky. I've only put a little bit of money in those projects. I've been very, very successful with my investments, but those risky projects that I know are risky and I take a punt, I know I could potentially lose my money. But unfortunately, a lot of people get in and they see YouTube videos, they see Dogecoin, SafeMoon, Shiba Inu, whatever dog coin they're bringing out right now, and they get pull 5, 10. Like I was in a group this morning and the guy said that he sold all his Ethereum to go into Shiba. I would never do that. There's no way in the world I would sell Ethereum to go on a coin like Shiba. So these are some bad investment decisions that I see people doing every single day. Lack of education, market volatility. One thing we know, like we've seen this year, Bitcoin got to 65,000 and bang, it crashed. It came down all the 29,000. You've got to anticipate this stuff. You've got to understand what's going on. Lack of emotion management, and this is a big one. During the pullback this year between May and the last few weeks, there were so many of our clients where we had to manage their emotions. We had to really, they wanted to sell, like, no, hold on, do not sell at a loss. You know, we know this, where this is going. This is just manipulation. And those that listen to us are laughing right now. And those that sold, you know, they've missed the boat and they're kicking themselves now. So now we're going to do an exercise called understanding your risk profile. Now, why is this important? So it's important because when you have an understanding of your own personal risk profile, you'll know what you should be investing, what you should not be investing in. You'll know how much risk you're going to take. You know, I've got a client where the client messaged us the other day and he said, look, guys, you know, I've been doing this and doing that. I've taken on some of your free resources, but I'm not sleeping at night because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm worried about my investments. So, you know, with him, we're going to go look at his risk profile. We're going to see what he's doing. We're going to help him, you know, put a profile together, or portfolio together, I should say, that is going to make him sleep at night. If you are not sleeping at night because of your crypto investments, you're worried about it, I can tell you right now, you're over leveraged. Never, ever invest more than you can afford in this space. And never invest any money that's going to make you stay up at night. We're not doing this to cause stress for people. We want people to get in and have financial freedom and prosperity. And the way to do that is to do it the smart way and follow the smart money. So analyzing your risk profile will mitigate any risk and threat for you. So I'm going to put up the actual workbook here. I'm going to put up on the screen. Can you guys let me know if you see this? Can I get a yes in the comments if you're seeing the workbook, please? Thank you, Andrea. All right, cool. So the first question is, how much do you have invested already? Now, this is a scaling system. So you're going to scale yourself between 1 to 5. And you're going to go, okay, so, you know, I have a lot of my wealth already invested. Could be business, could be property, could be shares, gold, and or crypto. If you've got a lot, you want to put 5 on there. If you've got a little bit, you know, I have a modest amount of my wealth already invested, you want to put a 3. I have none invested, I'm a newbie, you want to put a 1. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer here, guys. We all started somewhere. Don't think that if you put a 1, you're not a good investor. Understand where you are now. Educate yourself and you'll get better in time. The next question is, how diversely are you invested into a range of assets currently? I'm invested into many assets, example, business, property, shares, etc. So if you are invested in those assets for a 5, lightly invested, I have 2 or 3 types of investments already. You might have big shares, you might have some investment properties, you might have some gold, you might have some collectibles, whatever it is. Even if like some people like cars and they buy collectible cars and whatnot, and I know cars are going, you know, they're going gangbusters at the moment. Not something I invest in. I don't know anything about cars. I don't have any investments. So figure out which one is you and put an answer between 1 to 5 on there. What level of risk do you believe you can manage when investing? High risk, high return. I'm comfortable with a lot of risk and I like to maximize my results. Balanced, I like to aim for a balance of risk versus reward. Low risk, I like stable investments where I can have very little stress or worry. Again, choose between 1 to 5. No right or wrong answer, guys. This is all for you and or to help you understand where you are right now. Do you like to have control over your investments or have someone else manage them for you? Okay, this is a good question. And look, guys, I know I get a lot of people saying to me, you know, I just want my investments done. I don't want to answer any questions. I just want somebody else to do it. Now, I personally would always encourage people, it's your money, it's your responsibility. You know, we live in a world where people are taught not to take responsibility for their money. You know, and I'm totally against that. I was that person. I kept on borrowing money from the banks, thinking they're going to look after me. And guess what? When I hit financial struggle, the bank didn't care about me. No matter what they say on their ads and how much they're saying this stuff to you, my personal experience was they didn't care. They didn't care that I was affected by COVID. So educate yourself on your money. It's your money. It's your responsibility. Please do it for yourself. Do it for your family. So if you like to have control, full control, give yourself 5. If you like to have, if you're not sure, I don't mind, okay, put a 3. Manage, I don't need the control of visibility, happy for someone else to manage it, put down a 1. Look, we do have some of those people that come to us. We can help them out, but we always encourage people to learn. If you're not going to learn about what's going on, you will have a bad time, because as things go up and things go down, if you don't understand what's going on, you're going to blame the person that's looking after your money. Do you have time and interest in educating or learning about your investments, or prefer not to bother with getting involved? Again, active. I have time and interest and like to learn deeply about what and how to invest. Neutral. I like to understand a little bit, but I have other priorities. I don't have time or interest. I just want to ensure my money is working for me. Again, no right or wrong answer. Personally, I'm probably around the middle. I like to understand what's going on, but I do have other priorities. But I'm an investor in crypto. It's what I do. But at the same time, I do have some other investments where other people managing it for me. Then give yourself a total number out of 10. So add those up and give yourself a number. I don't think, sorry, is it out of 10? Let me just have a look. Over here. Okay, yeah. So it should be out of 25, I should say, my bad. So give yourself a rating, add them all up. If you get 1 to 10, then you are probably, does anybody want to share what they got here, actually? Darren, Mina, Andrea, does anybody want to share their results? No problem. Okay. So if you got a 1 out of 10 or 1 to 10, then you're probably a passive investor or a new investor. So you'll probably want to invest maybe 1 to 10% of your portfolio into a high risk, high reward asset like crypto. If you got 11 out of 7 or 11 to 17, then you're probably a standard flexible investor. Possibly 10 to 20% out of your investments should go into high risk, high reward opportunity like crypto. If you got 19 to 25, then you're probably more of an experienced active investor, and you may want to look at 20 to 30% as a high risk, high reward into high risk, high reward opportunities like crypto. Now, obviously, none of this is financial advice. Speak to your financial planner. These are just general rules about the profiles. All right, so once you understand your personal profile and you understand how much risk you're willing to take or not take, then you start to understand, okay, so I'm a conservative investor, I'm a safe investor, I'm a balanced investor, I'm aggressive, or I'm yellow, you only live once. And one of the things that we do at Breakout Solutions is we actually help our clients, once they understand their profile, we actually help them choose which portfolio structure that they need. And that will determine the type of risk that they put in. How much blue chip crypto do you want to go for? How much crypto do you want to put it in mid cap, or and then how much you want to put it in small cap? These are very, very risky ones. These are newer ones. These will give you the highest rewards if you know what you're doing. So once you understand your profile, you can understand where you should put in your investments. Now, this is one of our clients, and the reason I'm bringing this up for you guys, I want you guys to see that even if you're a new investor, you know nothing about it, we can definitely help you guys. So this is his name was Andrew. He came to us. He's a physiotherapist, I believe, and he knew nothing about the crypto space, and he was very worried about getting in because it is risky. So he came to us, we taught him the initial steps and how to get started investing, how to think critically, what is the next move. Since joining, he's made nearly triple his portfolio. And now he's got the knowledge and confidence to continue by himself and processing things by himself. And that's what we want, guys. We want people to learn to do this themselves, because this is knowledge that is not taught at schools. This is financial information that's not taught in high school or universities. And this is the type of stuff that we actually need in the real world. And once you have that knowledge, you can actually give it to those that you love. You can teach those around you, teach your kids. I teach my kids this stuff. I sit them down and I go, hey, this, and this. Hey, this, and this. And honestly, for me and my kids, during my depression, obviously my depression didn't just affect me, it affected my family, but through crypto and my boys, my two older boys, obviously my 16 and 19-year-old sons, they got involved, and it made us get closer, because I would sit down in my office, we would talk about it. So there's a lot of good that's done for me and my family. And you can see here from Andrew, I digress, but back to Andrew, you can see he's invested about $14,000 and he's gone up to over $30,000. And he's done a 130% return on his investment. This is another one of our clients, and this was a client that said, you know, I don't want to do anything. He was very well financially versed. He's an insurance broker. It's right down the screen. So Stephen's insurance broker, he wanted to buy a house. He had $25,000. He came to us, said, guys, you know, I want to buy a house. I don't have enough for a deposit. Can we turn this 25K into a deposit? And we said, yeah, let's have a look. We put a portfolio together for him. And we turned his $25,000 into $99,500, which he then pulled out. He went and bought his first property, and he sent us this email. He said, I've witnessed the process from start to finish, and I'm a fan. And he said, feel free to use me as reference anytime. And he's going to continue investing with us when he gets more money. So how do we actually profit from all of this? Now we're going to talk about the nitty-gritty of the 3 key methodologies that you can use to create wealth from the digital asset space. So the first thing you can do is you can invest by buying and holding. And this is probably one of the easiest, one of the safest ways that you can do it. You have the right tokens, you have the right projects, you know what you're buying, and then you just buy them and hold. Like if someone put in $100 in Bitcoin back in 2009, they'll be up to 44.5 million percent, as I showed you guys. So this is for long-term holds, and we highly recommend this for a lot of newbies and people who don't want to get really involved. We help them find out, you know, what is the portfolio that's good for them. They just buy it and hold it, and they just wait for it to grow. You don't need to look at the charts every day. You don't need to check the prices every day. You just want to check it once a month, once every 6 months, because it's a long-term strategy, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years. People buying crypto now, and the next 5 to 10 years, are going to make a ton of money. Passive income strategy. So this is a bit more active work where you can start staking, using farming. You know, there's actually some, I contradicted myself. It's passive income, but it needs a bit more action or attention, I should say. So these are things like taking your crypto, putting in for people to loan them out. You know, the same way that you've got your money in the bank, you can put it in organizations that you can loan them out, and then those organizations will give you an interest on that. No problem. Thank you, Darren. Next thing is, so with these passive income strategies, you know, there's things like staking. We're going to go through some of that in a moment. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. And then lastly is actively trading. And this is a very risky swing trading, scalping. It involves a lot of science. It involves buying low, selling high. It involves psychology, emotions are very critical. Again, not something that I would tell to the average investor or to the novice investor. I personally don't even like day trading myself. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of education. I much prefer investing, buying and holding, and putting my crypto into invest in passive income strategies. We're going to show you guys in a moment what you can actually get. And this is we're going to show you a real life example. But do not get caught up in the short-term price action. This is very, very important. You know, we can see here, this is the Bitcoin chart. And what you can see here, many people buy on the hype as the price goes up and the positive media articles, and then they sell when the price goes down because they get scared, they don't have conviction, they don't know what's going on, they don't understand the system. So they get scared and they sell, and this is how people lose money. This is why most people who've lost money, most people that have lost money in crypto have done it one of two ways. Either they bought high and sold low, or they were scammed. The third one is making mistakes, and I've done this myself, sending crypto to the wrong address, sending it to the wrong person. Unlike the bank, it doesn't come back to you. How are we going on time? 4 o'clock, perfect. You know, much better this time, Andrea, than last week. Last week, I think we were a bit over time. Okay, the key here is for you to think long term. And how do you do that? By understanding that crypto and Bitcoin is going to continue going up. All right. This, again, is a bit outdated. I think we're about 60,000 today. But this gives you a good understanding of the chart. Imagine being able to buy Bitcoin at $29. Now, that was the top of Bitcoin back in the first bull cycle. It went up to $29, then it crashed. Now, somebody bought Bitcoin at $29 back then, they're still up 200,000%, over 200,000%, 200,796. If somebody bought the next top at $138, they're still up 41,000%. The next top was $1,100. It's still up 5,196%. Are you guys seeing the picture here? It's all about long term. It's not about how much money can I make in the short term and getting rich. It's about long term and how much money I can make in the long term. If you bought the 2017 top at 19,600, you're still up 197%. Okay, if someone bought beginning of this year, they should potentially be, well, today they're probably a little bit under, but if someone bought the top of 64,840 back in May, they're still only down 10%. So as you guys can see, the longer you hold, the better off you are. Do not get involved in these short-term price action. But on top of that, Bitcoin is not the only opportunity. The greatest profit opportunity is actually in altcoins. Altcoins are things like Ethereum, Cardano, all the other tokens out there. That's where the money is. If someone invested money in $500 back in 2017 bull run, this is how much these projects have gone up. Ethereum's up 15,000%, 36,000, 54,000, 56, 126, 233, 614. Look at Verge, 1.5 million% up since 2017. Now, I don't know about you, but those are returns that you can't get anywhere else in any other financial market. So let's have a look at what would happen if someone, why is this not working? There it is. Let's have a look at what would happen if someone invested just $500 in those tokens back in 2017. $500 in Ethereum would be worth $77,000 now. $500 in Stellar will be worth $180,000. In Ripple, $274,000. In NEM, $282,000. In Neo, $631,000. In PivX, $1.166 million. In IOTA, $3 million. And in Verge, a whopping $7.5 million from a $500 investment in 3 years. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know any other investment or any other vehicle that can do this. And this is not hype, guys. This really is not hype. These are historical data. We're not giving you price projections here. We're not giving you, pipe dreams. We're just showing you what has already happened. I don't know why. Okay. So this is the digital asset space that we believe can actually change lives and make life-changing gains, not just for you. I mean, imagine having $7.5 million. This is generational wealth. This is money you can give to your kids, and so forth. Now, let's have a look what has happened just in the past 12 months. In the past 12 months, you can see here, Dogecoin has gone up 7,000%, Woo, 4,000, Telcoin, 19,000, Shields, 2,200. Polygon has even actually gone a lot more than that, and these are all part of our portfolio. Terra 2,500. Solana is what I'm thinking about. 2,000. Solana is going gangbusters right now. It's gone up 2,500, and it's still continuing to grow. Theta is 1,700. Still a massive opportunity. So let's have a look at what some of our results have been over the past, say, the past year or so. So if someone invested $5,000 into one of our portfolios, this is the returns they would have got. At the top, back in May, that $5,000 in 6 months would have been up to $63,000. Then after the market crash in May, it still was worth $29,000. This is the type of opportunities available even now. This is the opportunity still not gone, guys. 24,488%, $24,000 in return, 488% in growth. Now, this is our latest portfolio that we're using now. We've moved over to a new platform because this one's just a lot easier to manage. And we opened up this portfolio back on, I think it was the 28th or 29th of July. And what you can see here, in the past, since July till now, we're talking about July, August, September, October. I don't even know my months right now. Okay, so in about 3 months, it's gone up 128%. And you guys can see what the green line is our portfolio, and the yellow line there is actually the Bitcoin price action. And the reason why I'm showing you guys this, because as I said to you guys before, Bitcoin is still the king of crypto. So as Bitcoin moves, as Bitcoin goes up, so the altcoins go up. You know, the only difference is the altcoins sometimes do outperform Bitcoin, and they can go up a lot more, as you guys can see. But as Bitcoin goes down, it actually affects the altcoin market. So you can see the correlation. As Bitcoin drops, so does the portfolio. As Bitcoin goes up, so does the portfolio. So that's why we've got there for you. We've got that there for you guys. Now, this is Lance Jensen. Lance is an entrepreneur, and he's also a member of ours. He knew that crypto had such a steep learning curve, and he wanted to dive in, but he wanted the guidance of someone to help him so he doesn't fall into the traps of what most investors fall into. And this is exactly why he came to us, because he knew that he could learn from our mistakes and our experience. And we helped him put in a well-diversified portfolio, and he's almost 3x his money in such a short period of time. In fact, this is his actual results. So Lance got invested $38,000, $38,933. That's New Zealand dollars, because he is in New Zealand. And now he's gone up to $105,000. That's 170% return in a very short period of time. So what is the number one guaranteed strategy for building wealth? Okay, we're going to talk about this, and you guys probably know what this is. It is compound interest, and it is the secret to creating wealth. In fact, I don't know if Albert Einstein said this or not, it's attributed to him. He said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pays it. Think about your mortgage. Think about anything that we're doing right now. Whenever we're getting money from the bank, this is what we're doing. The banks are taking our money, they're compounding it, and they're making billions and billions of dollars. Now, how would you like to flip that narrative around so you are getting that compound interest? That's exactly what you can do with crypto. I'm going to show you guys an example of a portfolio that we have. And this is a real life portfolio. So as you can see here, Bitcoin, initial investment was $2,250. Current value is $4,290. We're getting around 6% interest per year, which means we're getting $257 per year or $21 a month. Ethereum, we've put that in staking and liquidity, $1,850, $2,120 is the current value. You're getting around 30% per annum. That is $276 or $23 a month. Then you've got stable coins. Stable coins are just, coins that are pegged to the dollar. So again, these ones are staked, $2,100. The value is still $2,100 because stable coins don't change in value. You're getting around 15% APY, and that's $315 annually, $26 a month. Now, DITRs is what we call diamonds in the rough. These are, low cap gems that we believe are going to have great returns in the future. We've done a lot of research in them. So these are things that, again, they're very new cryptos that can be quite volatile, can be quite risky, but we believed in this. So we invested $1,980 in there. Where current value has gone down because, like I said, DITRs are very risky, very volatile. So it went down a little bit, but getting 97% APY. So annually, you're getting $1,736 or $145 return on a less than $2,000 investment. Another DITR that we have, again, we invested over $2,000 in there. Current value is about $1,890. We're getting 58% APY per year, which means it's about $1,096 return every single year, which is $91 per month. So in total, you're getting $10,230 invested. It's grown up in value to $12,190. So I've already made a profit of about $2,000 there. We're getting around 30% return per year on this. So we're getting about $307 plus $3,681 per year. Now, what bank is going to give you those type of returns? You can only get this type of stuff in crypto, which is why, again, I'll tell you guys, investigate this opportunity. David, he's a business owner and also a breakout member. He wanted to put more focus on crypto, but had no idea where to start. So there's no way he could navigate the crypto space without someone that knows their stuff. So again, he came to us and I'd never have discovered. So what he said is some of the gains that he's got, he's tripled some of his gains. He never would have discovered it without the help of Michael and the breakout solutions. So thank you, David. This is what we love to do every single day. We love to help the average person be able to get into an opportunity like this and make some real gains for them and their family. So David invested $31,000. $31,346. His returns were up to $134,758, which is a 338% return on his investment. Okay, we're coming towards the end of this, guys. So start getting your questions ready. I'm going to show you guys our financial freedom formula. Just allow me to open that up, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen. So Michael has joined us. So if anybody has any questions for Michael, he might be able to answer some of those towards the end. Thank you for joining us, Michael. Okay, so can you guys see the financial freedom spreadsheet on your screen? Can I get a yes in the chat, please? Just going to grab a drink while I'm waiting for that. Thank you. All right. So before I get into that, these are some of the things I'm going to input into that spreadsheet. First of all, we want to look at when you are looking, you have this in your workbook. So in your workbook, you can actually download this and get a copy of it and use it, play around with it. It's a great tool for you to start looking at your finances, where you want to be, what you want to achieve, and how you're going to achieve it. And that's what we're going to do today. So first of all, we're going to go, all right, guys, what is your desired annual living budget? So got that, Andrea, thank you. So let's say this person wanted to have $150,000 per year just to live on just for their living. Okay, they believe that they can get 5% return on their investment. Their estimated current debt is zero. They got no debt, which is great. They're making about $8,000 a year, $8,000 a month in income, and they currently have about $6,000 a month in expenses. So this particular example, this person has about $2,000 of spare cash every single month. So what do we do here? Let's have a look at this and start inputting all of this into this formula. All right, so $150,000. We said we're going to put 5% annual return. The estimate of my current debt-free assets is zero, so we're going to put that down as zero. Okay. We said they've got $8,000 a month of current income, and they have no other income streams, so I'm going to put that as zero. All right, and their monthly expense is $6,000, which means they got $2,000 free. So if this person was to just go on like you, just saving that $2,000, getting 5% return every single year, it's actually going to take them, as you can see here, 40 years to get to financial freedom. And this is the reality for most people. If you can even get 5%, most property today, you get 5 or 6% return. Stocks, you might get 8% and whatnot. But most people will tell you 5 to 8% or 5 to 10% return per year is a great return. So let's play around with that. If this person wants just to start getting more, let's first of all say they get a side hustle. They might do some coaching. They might do some consulting, whatever it is they're going to do. And then they start to make an extra $1,000 a month. Oops. There we go. All right. So now just by adding an extra income, therefore they got an extra $1,000 they can put into investments. Now we've gone down from 40 years up to 33 years. So that's not too bad, but how do we get the most out of our investments? And I showed you guys you can get up to 30% returns with crypto. So I'm not going to go that far today, but let's just play around with the idea of getting higher returns. So let's say we can get about 8% return on this. Okay, if we put 8% return, now we've gone down to 18 years. So depending how old you are, if you're quite young, just getting 8% on that, you can retire very, very fast in 18 years. 18 years goes very, very fast. But let's say we do more than that. Let's say we put 10%. Once we put 10%, now we're talking about 15 years. Now we start to become more realistic for a lot of people. Like for me, you know, I'm in my early 40s. If I can get 10% return on this type of investment, then I can actually start looking at having a really good retirement. Many people in Australia are not set up for retirement. They end up getting their pension or they end up getting their superannuation at the end of it, and it's usually not enough to live off. But let's say, you know, as we showed you guys, let's say we're going to go for 15% return. Okay, by going to 15% return, you can see that's gone down to 10 years. Now, for me, that starts to become very, very exciting because, you know, I'm in my early 40s. If I can retire in the next 10 years, I'll be in my early 50s. I can have a lot of fun doing that. Can you guys see why it's so important to pay attention to your finances? Because if you start doing this, you know, you can actually start having some real goals coming to you in very, very short period of time. All right, so back to this, guys. Is there any questions? Anyone else answer any questions? Okay, so that's pretty much my last slide. For those of you here, we are finishing a little bit earlier. I told you guys we're going to be on time today, Angela and Michael, because I know last week I went a little bit over time. Okay, so here are some free resources for you guys. Anybody who's interested, just jump on breakoutnow.co/free. That's our Digital Wealth Collective Bronze membership. You're going to get a lot of freebies. You get some, get some training online. You get a membership site. You get a Telegram group where you can ask questions and start learning. We share a lot of news. We share a lot of gold in there. Check out our website if you want to get in contact with us, breakoutsolutions.com. We've got a free Telegram group too. So this is something that we manage. We've got a couple of hundred people in there, and a lot of gold in there. We're always sharing, people bringing new projects that they're talking about. We have a look at it. We give advice. When new things are coming, when we see corrections in the market, we're always giving free advice to people because we genuinely want people to succeed in this space. Check out our YouTube channel. Michael does some amazing, amazing videos. The guy is a real tech visionary. He knows his shit, which is why I'm working with him. And lastly, if you do want to meet me, do want to find out more about this opportunity, guys, click on that link. Come and see me. It's no obligation, 30-minute networking meeting. Let me get to know you, get to know what you're about. You can get to know what I'm about. And if there's anything I can help you with, guys, I would love to help you. And that's pretty much about it for me, guys. I'm going to leave it on that.
Thank you very much, Wassim, and it was really a great experimental learning with you. And for those who were watching on YouTube or will watch the replay, please don't forget to reach out to Wassim. You will find the links in the YouTube, and you will also see it on the screen. Please do so. And when you rewatch it, then please also add your questions to the comments on the YouTube, because we will come back to you about anything what you have to ask from us. And now I'm stopping the live stream. Thank you very